Welcome back, Exiles, to another Conan build video, and today we're going to look at building a cottage. In my last video I showed you how to decorate one, and then I had some requests to see how I built it, so we're going to come over here and we're going to rebuild that little cottage right here at the base of the dam. So I'm going to build it in the same spot so we can kind of get the same vibe as we had before. And to do that, I went ahead and grabbed all of the pieces that I want, so that way I'm spending less time in the admin panel. Now, someone asked me about the admin panel, so what I do is I go in here to admin and I go to cheat if I'm running Pippi, otherwise this just pops up and then I come over here and grab whatever materials I want. I also turn on no building costs, just out of habit, ignore the stability loss. I also freeze the time so I don't have to worry about it getting dark, freezing the sky up here so it doesn't rain on me. And I am in cloak mode, which means the animals don't mess with me, so I can build whatever I want without them bothering me. So let's get to it. Now I still build with pillars and ceiling bits because I like the versatility it gives me. We can talk a little bit about that as I go. Oop, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. When you use a foundation, it will eliminate the grass under and around it, which is always nice now. That was one thing before that was really irritating, was all of the stuff poking up through. Right? A pillar does not have the same clearance as a foundation does, which is kind of irritating. But I discovered a workaround. Oops, my axe again. Quite by accident, actually. So I always plan my builds out on paper first, just so I have an idea. But now I've got all this grass, which I don't want. So I'm going to grab a planter. And I'm going to remove my ceiling. I'm going to sink a planter kind of in the middle, right? Sink it in just about to ground level so it wouldn't show, right? And eliminate some of the grass around it so now it doesn't poke through. Of course, you can still use foundations that has a little bit better clearance, but I'll show you why I like to use pillars and ceilings in a moment. So I know I want my porch to be 4 across. I know I want my house to be 6 across and 4 deep. So 2, 3, 4. All that graph paper from school coming in handy. Right. And I also know that I'm going to want my porch, because I've already built this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're building on a server that has purge, you're going to want to use the pillars or foundations, even with the stability thing, because that kind of saves you in case of purge. Somebody's going to come in and knock your one pillar down, knock your whole building on, and that would not be nice. So, and then I know I've got my little dining room over here, which will come over this far. I did not build it completely square on purpose. Critters on my house, because I wanted to have some structural variety. I didn't want to have everything looking exactly the same, so it would make my roof a little bit less symmetrical, I guess, just because it gives the building some something. I know I'm going to need my door. I'm going to grab a plain door for this one because I just don't want anything fancy schmancy. There's my doors. I already know where I want them. And I'm going to go to put a door in, because if I don't, here in a minute when I start putting the walls in, I'll still have critters coming through, and that's not nice. I know that I want a little alcove for my stove. I know that I want a little alcove for my fireplace. So I'm done with the structural bits, and I'm going to start putting in the walls. Now I'm going to put wall, a frame there, a frame there, a frame there. Wall, frame. For my kitchen, I'm going to have more frames because I don't need just something to keep the variety going, right? And now no more critters in my house while I'm building. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some bits down so I know where my roof is going to end up. Right? Remember, with ceilings, ceiling piece is going to match what's below it. So I've got a wedge piece on the ground. It needs a wedge piece above it to close it in. Okay? And that just kind of helps me mentally hold the space. I also know that I'm going to have a loft in this build. So let's go ahead and get that done. Alright. Put in our flooring. I'm one of those people that once I figured out how to get everything going the same direction, I kind of really like it that way. As much as I like the Numidian set, one thing that is a little difficult is getting things to go on the walls, on the interior side of these walls. It really doesn't like to hang well. But there you go. And then there we go. You can leave that open if you want. You can turn it into a little storage alcove if you want. I'm going to close it in. Okay. So we have our walls, but we still need our roof. And this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. I'm going to put this out while I'm thinking about it. I chose Numidian for this one just because I like the rusticness of it. But we're going to need to do a little playing around here. Need the inverted pieces. Okay. So first off, we've got these chunks missing. So we're going to need our inverted pieces. And they are a little touchy about clipping sometimes. So you kind of have to play with them. Like that. I don't know why they like to be difficult. They just do. Okay. Using our slopes because on the floor we have squares, right? Tree in my way. There's a part of me that really hates cutting down trees because I like having them right next to my house. When I'm done, if you cut them down, it takes so long to think about bringing back. Okay, now we've got some gaps. Let's see what we can do to start filling in some of these gaps. All right. Missed a roof piece? Missed a roof piece. Okay. Let's see what else we can do about filling in some of these gaps. So hit the right button. Okay. And there we go. Starting to fill it in. Starting to look a little less under construction. That's all closed in. For this particular one, I'm wanting this roof. Oh, I see some problems here. That doesn't line up. Right? And what normally you would do to fill in this gap would be some inverted pieces. So let's see what we can do here. Progress. Alright. Got some progress. I'm going to put in some of these sloped bits, and that's closing in the gap a little more. So what we would normally put in here is an inverted piece. This one right here. But it won't clip there. It's got to have something more substantial to clip to. So for this particular build, you're going to have to close in the roof a smidge. You could close that in completely with some of these if you wanted. Or you can leave it open and call it a loft. But to get that piece on there, it's going to have a ceiling piece to snap to. And now the roof will close, and this is where you can put the rooftop on. I like the intersections. You can put a junction here. You have lots of options on how you want to close this last bit in. Use whatever wall caps you want. Now we've got a roof with a little bit of variety to it. It's not just a straight roof. I like things a little off center when I can, so it's not just a plain old box. Now we have the exterior of our cottage done. One last finishing touch I like to do is I like to close in the bottom, and this is why I like the ceilings and pillars, because I can easily do this with any floor that I want. I don't have to match it to the median. I could put in Conan, I could put in stone brick, I could put in whatever. The median does go good with lots of things, so you could change it up as much as you want. And this way you could do it on a vanilla server without worrying about overlaps. But I don't want it over here. I want something different over here. I want the fence foundations. But they won't clip. They won't clip. They will clip to a regular foundation. So we're going to cheat it a little bit. Now I can line my porch with fence foundation that I want. I can put in any fence foundation there that I want without worrying about it overlapping with a foundation, since I think they turned off the overlaps for PVP. And there you go. We have the cottage. For you to decorate however you like. So you can close that in, you can leave it a loft, put in some barrels, call it storage, dining room, kitchen. And there you go. A whole lot of trees and a nice little country cottage. Until next time.